Okay, welcome to Outlaw Woodworking. Today we're going to see how long it takes to build a 3D flag. If you already have the wood prepared, how long does it take to machine? And from an existing file, let's open an existing file. So the first flag I did was a Marine Corps flag for my nephew. Actually, it was my third flag, but it was the first one that actually turned out nice. And I'll show you a picture right here. So anyway, that was dedicated to my nephew, and now I want to build a U.S. Navy flag dedicated to my grandpa, who was in he was a Pearl Harbor survivor, and he was a lifetime Navy guy. So I already designed this flag. So we're going to see how long it takes from now to take this flag over to the CNC machine. And you can see I've already got it designed. Now we'll go through and check all the tooling, and also let's go back and we're going to check our material and see it's too thick. So what we need to do is cancel that, go back over to the tooling, and we're going to have to set this to 1 inch because I'm using rough lumber, and by the time I get it milled down, it's about 1 inch. And I'm going to double check this actually before I run anything. And right here you got gap above model. Now I like that. See, the model's sitting up really high. So all this looks good. We'll just change the thickness, and it's going to ask me to recalculate my tools probably. Changing these, yes. So would you like to recalculate? Yes. So you can see that little yellow thing. It's recalculating all the tools. Okay, so we're going to preview this first and take a really close look at it, make sure it's good. And that looks really good, actually. Yeah, that looks clean. Okay, so let's highlight this. We'll check all our tools. We'll close this, and we will go over and save our toolpath. So I'm going to put a time clock on the actual video, and I'll speed it up, but the clock will speed up the same as the video. So we'll time how long does it take to make a 3D U.S. Navy flag, and because we're going to sell these at the swap meet. And we have this little like farmers market thing that I'm going to set up a booth next spring, and I want to see how long it takes. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this, and I will see you over at this machine. The first thing I do is go through my checklist, and then I run this program, running this white side 6220 spoil bore cutter to surface this piece of wood. And really, if you're doing any kind of project, you really need to have a flat surface that coincides with your machine. And surfacing is the best way to do it. Yeah, I surface both sides, and I make sure that this piece of wood is sitting flush. So at this point, I'm up to, 15 minutes? So I spent about 2 minutes drawing or, prepping the program, uploading it, and then surfacing it. So right now I'm like 20 minutes in. I put the V-carve bit in, and this V-carve bit is a 1502 from Whiteside, 90-degree V-groove bit, 1/4 inch shank, 1/2 inch diameter, and it makes quick work out of all the stars. Now once I'm done with that, I put in the RU2075 bit, and this is an upcut spiral bit, and it does a really nice job of the stripes. So I run the program to cut all the stripes out, and that was actually really quick. Then I put in the program again with the same bit to do the roughing toolpath for the 3D model. And that takes a little time, but it goes okay. It really does a lot of detail, but it doesn't go too far. It leaves a certain amount of tolerance for my finishing bit to really go in and do the detail work. I'm really amazed, like when you look at it, you're like, man, this thing's just tearing this thing up. And then a half hour later, you're like, Wow, that's starting to look good. So right there, it's finishing the roughing tool path, because that's in an offset, so it's kind of like just cruising all over the place. But when I switch to the 3D finishing tool path, it'll go on a raster, which is back and forth with the grain. And I found that to be the most successful so far. I've had a lot of failures, and that, believe it or not, has been the most successful so far. But right now we're still on the roughing tool path. Now here we're switching to the Samana tool, and this is a carbide upcut, really expensive, 1/8 inch diameter ball nose 3D carving tool from Amana, and it's pretty nice. Now from here, like, we're only an hour 15 in, but this particular procedure is going to take another 2 hours. And I had to switch cameras. Basically what I did to make sure that I knew how long this took was I run 2 different cameras, and I would go turn one on, turn one off, and basically that's how I kept track of the time. And you can see in my little time clock down there, right now we're an hour 27, and we've started the 3D finishing tool path. And this is going to go for a couple hours, although this is only a 14-minute video, so I've sped this up, I believe 20 times at this point. Right here I'm cleaning up the floor. I love this epoxy floor that I did. I did it in my whole shop. This room, the other room, and down the hall. And I did it myself. It was hard, but I'll tell you what, it cleans up nice. I've spilled oil on it and it wipes right up, and it's kind of nice. Anyway, right here we're probably not even halfway through. And I keep having to look at the camera to see if the red light's on, because that's how I'm recording it. I'm basically recording it by video, and the video is going to tell me how much time it's taking. And right here we're almost at 2 hours. Now if it didn't have the 3D in it, I could do one of these flags in 10 minutes. But the 3D part, I mean, when you see the detail in the 3D, it's amazing. You just, yeah, it's worth the effort that it takes, because it's so beautiful when you're done. And there you can see right there. I'm only halfway right there. Actually, I've always been very proud of my my grandfather. He was a Pearl Harbor survivor. I'll show a picture right here. He yeah, I have a bunch of Pearl Harbor survivors at the time. When he died, they folded a flag and brought it over to me at my grandfather's funeral. And I probably cherish that more than anything. I mean, I'm not real materialistic, but I would have to say that I would not let that flag go. But anyway, yeah, he was a cool guy. He came out of the Great Depression. He was from Kansas, and I remember he told me he lied to the Navy about his age when he went in. And back then they could do like 1-year deals or 2-year deals or something like that. And he got out after 2 years, him and his buddy, and they went back to Kansas, and it was in the middle of the Great Depression, and there was no food, and he's like, the hell with this, and he went right back in the Navy. Because of the Navy, they were feeding him steaks, and you know, they were feeding him really good. So my grandfather, I guess you could say he stayed in the Navy because of food. Anyway, yeah, this flag is dedicated to him. Now here, you're almost done. I mean, you're at, right now, well, not almost done, but you're pretty close. It's doing these finishing tool paths with that Amana 1/8" ball nose bit, and it's almost done. We're 2 hours 48. Yeah, it's getting close. So this is what it takes. I mean, look at that. Oh man, the detail is amazing. And this is what it takes to, if you want to do a 3D image, it takes time. So you're looking at, well, I guess I'll tell you in the end, but you're looking at over 3 hours. Now, what is the cost of a CNC per hour? I don't know. You know, in my book, you know, when I think about the time I have to spend to do one of these 3D flags, and I'm retired, so I'm not even out to make a big buck. I'm thinking, you know, a 3D flag with a 3D emblem should be at least $200. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But I think that's a lot of time involved. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious what other people think, actually. And there, my little time clock, I'm already over 3 hours for this flag. And that includes a couple minutes of drawing, and then a little bit, a little bit of time of surfacing the wood. I guess if you had perfectly surfaced wood, you could probably knock an hour off of it, or at least a half hour you could knock off of it. But right here I'm at the end, and we're already at 3 hours and 30 minutes. Let's see where it stops. Up, there it is. So it took 3 hours and 33 minutes to make that flag, that 3D flag. And it did turn out nice. I was pretty pleased with it. Here's a picture of it. And anyway, I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe, like, share,